This is Truth Be Told Transformation, and I'm Bonnie Burkert. I'm very excited to welcome Nandhi to our show today. Hi, Nandhi.
Hello, divine being.
Hi.
So wonderful to connect here.
Very much so. Nandhi and I know each other from various festivals in the Los Angeles area, including Disclosure Fest, Bhakti Fest. Nandhi, you have been a pillar in this community, building higher consciousness, and I'm really glad to have you on. The mission of our show is to share tools for transformation. So, would you like to share maybe an idea of one tool that you think can help us transform?
Yes, very much. Thank you. Thank you. See, when we do yoga or we meditate, there is a positive vibrancy in doing it. This positive vibrancy is the platform of consciousness. Where we think from is what reality we unfold. Now, if we understood that consciousness is the only true content within all religions, like the pathway through all disciplines of thoughts and belief systems leads us to attainment of consciousness. So when we attain consciousness, what does that mean? It means not only awakening a potential to shine beyond the capacities of our mind, but also to be unbound by the laws of karma and limitations. So when we do yoga, when we meditate, there's an end effect of us feeling so good. And that goodness of feeling is what all poets and masters across the globe through history have written about: freedom, liberation. So what does this mean? It means being the spirit, having this wonderful, magnificent human experience. So with consciousness, when thoughts have transformed itself to wisdom, we are here to create the heavens of our intent. Now, all our potential is shining. Each moment, we are the inspired beings. Now, the word we is powerful because the I ego has now let go. And now we are the many as one and the one as many. So this as consciousness means when we experience reality, we are experiencing reality from the dimensions of being awake, the dream state, and sleep. But there's the fourth stage, which is called Turiya. The Turiya state is actually the supermind. In the states of Turiya, a premonition has opened up. ESP has opened up. The sixth dimension of whom we are is now there. The five senses allows us to perceive. The sixth is higher consciousness, the states of Turiya. This is able to dissolve away the limits of mind, body, and circumstance. So ultimately, consciousness is a very powerful dimension of attainment in our individual life. But on a macro level, if we had consciousness, we would have been saved from the curse of religions fighting with each other and causing all of history's pains of war. In consciousness, we recognize each other as one. In consciousness, there is peace, there is harmony, and there is abundance. We each are the genius awake. Does this mean now that this is a process of learning and a process where, we need that particular structure? Not really. All masters across the globe, when they woke up, they tapped into that wisdom that remains for all of us, the higher wisdom, and it was expressed in different words, in different ways. So ultimately, when we awaken to consciousness, now we are the human transforming to becoming the angelic. But the first step is transforming an animal into the human, which is why we enjoy our dimensions of meditation and yoga and Tai Chi and all these practices, is to still the monkey mind and come into that single pointedness. And in that single pointedness, now we are unfolding the vastness within each of us. And this that we experience for ourselves is actually the collective consciousness of humanity. So even as we uplift ourselves, humanity is uplifting itself. Yes.
Amen. Wow, there's a lot there, Nandhi. Thank you. Thank you for setting the tone of this conversation and so eloquently sharing both the depth and breadth of the possibility of consciousness and attaining higher consciousness, yet reminding us that it really does start with us very simply. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be disappearing to the Himalayas for years and years into a cave to do this, correct? We can turn inwards and find our own heart, and I think it can really set us on the right path.
So yes, it's the light that we have the potential to light within. Much of our problems of experience for most humans is loneliness, the pains of loneliness. During these pandemic moments, we have so much more time for ourselves, to ourselves. So relationships around it, our career goals and the monetary dimensions of abundance around it, health and vitality, all of this is that which transforms with our inner light alighting. And our journey is, as we ascend upwards within ourselves, it is very much like each chakra holding a reality world. And chakra by chakra, as we climb up, as the realities by realities blossoming for us. And yes, this is so much within us to be the change.
Be the change.
From within, everything works its way.
I see.
Now, I would like to say it as awakening the inner sun.
Can you repeat that, please?
The awakening the inner sun.
Okay.
See, planets go round and round. And when planets go around, we are like when we fall in love, you've now become a planet. Now you're going to go round and round and round. You cannot be free. It's opposite of freedom. But if you become love, planets go around you like the sun. So when you awaken our inner self, we have become the inner, we have woken up the sun. And now our experience is not dictated by what it is outside, but by the light and radiance of ourselves, our sun that shines. Every dimension of our realities now goes around us. All we know is to be bliss, to be the light. The sun itself never knew darkness. The sun itself does not have day and night. And this is the states of Turiya. super consciousness. That is for every one of us.
Okay, so I do want to share I've been to your classes before. I've been to your meditations and your puja ceremonies before. Share a few of the techniques. I know you to be very adept at mantra. There's certain movements as well. Mudra, perhaps. Would you like to share some tools for the beginner?
Okay. Now, understand that our journey is to be breath and that beyond breath. A lot of times when we say meditation, we are sort of like, we think we are meditating. Are we meditating right? So what is it that we need to look for and what is it that we need to do? Now, I can speak from my own experiences of the journey that as I set alight my journey to go within and expand and find my wholeness. The first is receive a mantra. Receiving the mantra really means when you meet an enlightened master, asking for anything is like asking for a safety pin other than asking for consciousness itself. So the consciousness that you seek is in the form of mantra. Receive that mantra. Now, as we chant the mantra is in reality a vibrancy of that we are invoking, and that which we invoke, that we become. So now as we step into that dimension of getting into the mantra, within all the mantra fire is the dance. And once we have tapped into the dance, we've understood stillness.
I'm gonna.
One of
I
my
want
gurus.
before you go. Let's stay with that really quickly here. So help me understand dance. Are you saying literally dancing?
Pardon me?
When you mentioned dance, correct? You said mantra and then
Breath.
it moves into the
Yes.
dance. Do
There's
you mean
breath, and then you go beyond breath.
okay? And is that
So how do you manage to go beyond breath? How do you manage to go beyond the mind? How do you manage to go to reach stillness? Okay, stillness is a very powerful grace. So how do you reach stillness? Okay,
I'm still
so
trying. 30 years on the yoga mat, still trying.
so see, my Guru Aya was meditating in a cave for 18 years, drinking 1 cup of milk a day. And at the morning time, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., they will open the cave up. And that's when he would actually give his blessings to anyone who came to seek him. And then they would close it up. And
This was in
I
India,
wanted
correct?
to know
This was in
what.
India. This was in India?
Yes,
Yes.
this was in India. And I wanted to know, this was when I was a seeker, and I was deeply needing my Siddha grace, and Guru Aya was one of my gurus. And I wanted to know what kept him so happy all by himself. And he basically did not want to have any human contact. So what was it that kept him in that state of joy, that state? So I remember many times staying there overnight and quietly meditating by the side. And Aya's cave is like closed up. So, he would not know that we were present, but then there we were meditating. And at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., he would burst out singing. He was in ecstasy. He was in that ultimate supreme states of joy. And that I realized was the secret. That is the grace. So when you receive the mantra, we go into the mantra to find that epicenter of the dance. And then we become the dancer. And in the dance, we found a stillness. So this is an important dimension of meditation, to understand that we are in that ultimate supreme states of enjoyment. And it's like making love to the divinity, to the entirety of the cosmos. And here we merged ourselves. And when we merged ourselves, now we are stepping into timelessness. Now, this timelessness, when we come back into the reality world, we are experiencing time, but as timelessness beings, beings of timelessness experiencing time. The spirit having this pure human experience. So, to begin with in the meditation journey, receive the mantra. Allow breath and mantra to go into source unions. The first of the gift we will receive is Bhakti. Bhakti is divine love, absolute love for source unions. Now, that Bhakti in reality is wisdom. In other words, the more of a love for the divinity, there's more of our wisdom now beginning to flow. But as we climb deeper and as we go higher within ourselves, our breath begins to transform to breath beyond breath. Now, there was another guru of mine who's a powerful Siddha master who left his body just in the last year. Annai Siddhar, Rajkumar Rajasamy Guruji. I was seeking that grace, the grace of the breath beyond breath. And when he took me to a room, had me close all the windows, and he went into a chant. And that chant, all I could see was a pillar of light. And then I could feel that entering into me. So later I had created my first music album, Cave of the Siddhas. And I was shy to share it with him. And when I did share it with him, he called me and said, "Oh my God, I realized what my guru had told me had come true. And that is, Mother Kundalini takes 7 years to grow up and mature itself. And when I gave you the mantras, I gave you that with my gurus in it. Now I see from the number of 6, I can feel about 18 Siddha beings in the mantra chants.
Nandhi?
Now I realize my guru's truth through you. So now, when we look into our own meditation, it is not just meditating for a moment, but meditating nearly 24/7. In other words, all waking moments, we are gliding above the mind. We are the ego of timelessness, gliding over time. And when we bring focus, it's absolute. Here, when we come into focus, our heart is singing. We are the genius of what we do. Here, we are able to understand time from the unlimited perspective. And this is why when we meditate, when we do yoga, we become the 6th dimensional being. We become the cosmic child. And the 6th dimension really relates to the oneness of humanity that always has been, that we are reawakening to. So, it's vital for all of us to wake up, be the expansive being as the potential that lies within us, waiting for our own call. And then the journey has begun. And all that happens through our journey is the fulfillment of our doings. But more important is being inspired. When we are inspired, being we can move mountains. When we are inspired, it's only natural that all the best of us happens. When we are inspired, you notice that you're not hungry. You're not cold or hot. We've stepped into timelessness. This is the states of Turiya, sleepless sleep. And this is the ultimate, supreme attainment of a spiritual journey.
That is beautiful and so powerful. So there's a lot of things to pick apart. Now, one of the things that you mentioned was mantra, specifically. Am I correct? The mantra is one of the most important tools to begin on this journey. So how does somebody find that mantra for themselves? Should we email you?
Okay. I could actually share a mantra for all of us right now. And see, the most important dimension is like understanding that when we wake up the light within us, we are the enshrined being. We would not need anything outside ourselves. When we've woken up the light within us, we have woken up our inner guru. So today, let me share with you this mantra from our lineage of Siddha Kagapujandar. My Guruji, Annai Siddhar Rajkumar Rajasamy Guruji. Now, when we receive this mantra, say this mantra 108 times so the mantra is ours. Utilize this mantra not only to light a lamp outside ourselves, but in the process of lighting a lamp outside ourselves, to light a lamp inside ourselves. Now, when we begin a journey awakening the primordial root chakra, this is the foundation. This is the foundation of our journey upwards. Lord Ganesha represents the basic fundamentals of us, as in love, as in career, as in relationship, as in abundances, as in health. All of this is from the root chakra. Now, ideally, you could actually create your own temple and empower your own space as you empower yourself every day by having a lamp in the middle of a room and going around and round and creating a pillar of light outside yourself and creating a pillar of light within ourselves. So receive this mantra, and as you receive this mantra, feel it light the innermost lamp. Okay, the mantra. Ring, ang, ung, Ganapatiye Namo. Ring, ang, ung, Ganapatiye Namo. Ring, ang, ung, Ganapatiye. See, challenges asks us to seek the higher. All of us have some form of a unique challenge in our life. So when you chant the mantra, bring forth all that is limiting us into the mantra and crack it like a coconut. Crack our past like a coconut. So when you say the mantra, let's crack it. Okay? Crack our past, crack everything in the past, step into the now, the pure now. Okay, let's say this mantra 9 times, and then later on you could say the mantra by yourself. So in this way, this mantra sacred fire is within each of us growing. Ring Ang Ganamadiye Namo. Ring Ang Ganamadiye Namo. Ring 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 Ganamadiye Namo. Rub your palms together. Your left hand is your mother. Your right hand is your father. Feel every cell in the body saying thank you to your father and mother. Now, press the left toe down and the right toe down, the big toe of your left and big toe of your right. This actually navigates the breath. When you press both the breath down, you are stimulating the Sushumna Nadi, that is the spinal cord light, to go up. And keep our fingers like this. Okay, this is the chin mudra. Okay, so go pressing both the big toes down, go all the way to the root chakra. Imagine ourselves like a pyramid and straighten the spine as the light climbs up. Ring Ganamadiye Namo. 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 Rub your palms to receive the blessing. Ring Ganamadiye Namo. Ring Ganamadiye Namo. Ring Ganamadiye Namo. And then put your hands over your eyelids, receiving the blessings of our highest self, to whom we are. Okay, so this is like the Ganapati mantra to get the journey started.
Ganapatiye, and that is the mantra for Ganesha, yes?
Yes.
For Ganesha.
Yes,
Yeah.
the first of the mantra. Okay. So, see, when you do this in the morning time, you know, we are basically setting forth the energy to move. But one thing which is very, one dimension of it is ask as a prayer. Ask, hey God, give me the right thought. Asking for the right thought would be the first prayer when you wake up in the morning. When you wake up in the morning, rub your palms like this. Feel your mother, feel your father. Think of Lord Ganesh, the root chakra, and place your hands over here and say, give me the right thought. Give me the wisdom. With wisdom, with the right thought is the right vibrancy. With the right vibrancy, we are unlimited in our circumstances, and when we have been able to work our breath, our health and vitality works alongside with it. So the journey of the 24 hours in reality is time. What frees us is being the timelessness in time. So once a day, when we light a lamp, we are breaking free from the 24-hour cycle. So this, as a journey within, is from transforming that animal to human, which is what Ganesha, the mantra of Ganesh, Lord Ganesha does. And from human, we step into being the angelic. Now, when we are the angelic, we are wisdom. When we unfold wisdom, our reality is the magnificence of heavens.
I feel that. Yeah. The angelic, being the angelic. So, Nandhi, again, we're talking about, I mean, this is all about higher consciousness is what you stand for. And I know that this is your mission on life. And I'd like to take it back a little further to when you were younger in India. And how did you find yourself on this path? I know you were a businessman at one point.
when I'm sorry, could you repeat it, please?
Yes, I just wanted to ask about your path coming to this spiritual awakening that you did, because I know at one point you were in the business world.
Yes.
So, how did you balance that and find yourself basically very committed to all these different works that you're doing to raise all of our consciousness, please?
Yes. I actually, like when I went deeper and deeper into myself, there was 9 years of a period when I was seeking the divine, going to caves, going with my masters, meditating by myself. Like there was this eagerness and seeking, and I realized what I was seeking was my wholeness. But after that, I began to realize that there was a greater dimension laying before me. I landed here in America 10 days before September 11th. And when the September 11th happened to me, it was so painful because it was the name of God contaminated by ignorance of human. So 3 years later, I was honored to do the opening ceremony, the very first opening ceremony of Bhakti Fest. And I was wondering, how do we commemorate this moment? So I had all of us chant the name Allah, because God's name is pure. It is the humans who basically dirty it. But in reality, it was my question to Allah, God, the nameless, the named one, and all the names. What is the solution for this? And just 2 years later, at the same Bhakti Fest, the solution appeared, and that was consciousness. Consciousness is our idea in time that is unstoppable. And that is the we of all of us waking up to being the highest of potential of each and coming together. Now, if we go deeper into ourselves to our awakening, we will understand our religion being that of the liberated. We are liberated in wisdom. No more of dogma and anti-science and uh, all of that which we have been seeing so far as that which has limited us as a human. So now with consciousness as that, I realize myself as my purpose as how to reach consciousness to humanity. My movement, the Declaration of Consciousness movement, is on a macro level having nations adopt the principles of consciousness. And it needs be the basic right of every human, the rights to consciousness and its principles. But beyond this is, okay, so how do we impart it? And this was my teaching, mastery of consciousness. In mastery of consciousness is, okay, now there's a methodology to work it within. It's like a GPS showing us the way. And this is the grace of my journey with my gurus. And I look back into each of my experiences from the time my very first guru, Bhairavaseka Swami, took me through my death experience, where I experienced several deaths, wow, to wake up to the vast, beautiful embryo inside me, the spirit, which I tended, nurtured, and which that vast beingness of me was what as a yogi opened the doors. And now as I journey through my gurus, each of my gurus, I realized there was this ancient intent, the intent of all masters at all times. Saivam Vetri. Saivam is consciousness. Saivam is oneness. Saivam is the awake wisdom. Victory is victory. So consciousness is victorious. And that is within each one of us now in these shared times, awakening the grandest potential of humanity. Each of us furthering the frontiers of humanity by being. So I look into this journey as now it's time for all the wheels to move. We've seen extremes. 4 years ago, when Donald Trump was elected as president, it was a scary thought. It felt dangerous. And at that time, a student of me asked, what do we do? And I said, all we can do is chant Om Namah Shivaya and be in that consciousness that will protect humanity through all of this. And as a madman, he hijacked this wonderful country. And somehow we are still in one piece, though broken. Now it's time for us to get back together, time for us to put back together the light of oneness of humanity. Consciousness is super smart. With a super mind, we are able to work through on solutions for everything. So from science to technology, in all the dimensions, we can now align our potential as one humanity. And we have witnessed a challenging time, but what's before us is the magnificence of opportunity. The pandemic times has given us all a shake-up. For some, it's been horrible. But through all of this, we have been incubating a light. The 100 monkey theory states that when a few of us have attained that light catches up with everyone. This, in reality, is consciousness. Step into a shop in the airport or anywhere. That hundreds of books on consciousness now. Look into the teachings. So each one of us, when we wake up, we have something extraordinary and unique to share. So this is like a new era for humanity that we are witnessing as in time. And it's joyful that we all share that breath together now.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. Nandhi, before we, just one last question for you. I had, when I was introducing the show, I was telling you that this channel really developed a large following with interest in ETs, extraterrestrial, and energies from the beyond. And you had some comments on that. I was wondering if you'd like to share.
Now, in the pathway of yoga, we, as the Siddhas, mention of Adi Guru, the Guru of all the Gurus, the first of the Gurus. And he is worshipped as Lord Muruga, Kartikeya, Skanda. These are many names. The six-pointed star. If you look back into history of all the major projects built, like from the pyramid in Egypt, in South America, China, we have a similarity, and it will all be represented as the flower of life. And if you go into the flower of life, we have the six-pointed star. Lord Muruga is mentioned as the blessings that came from the Pleiades. One step before is a story when darkness was continually winning. And all the goodness in the form of angelic being went to the Lord Supreme and said, "Hey, save us, save us." So the Lord Supreme said, "Okay, I will be born on planet Earth, and my light will my light as a cosmic child will conquer all the limits and darknesses." So this is the origin of the story of Lord Muruga, that he was born of the Pleiades, and when he is as in the human, he was the origin of consciousness, or the Vak, which is represented as the ancient Tamil. Now, if you go back into the ancient Tamil, there is clear literature about Lemuria. Now, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, which is supposed to have been around, say, 10,000, 20,000 years BC, 10,000, 12,000 years BC, was an end of a major civilization. And this civilization extended all the way down towards Babylon, which is currently Iraq. And this was ancient Tamil culture, the Tamil people. And after the ocean sank Lemuria, all of this condensed back into what is today the South India. Now, there's a very interesting theory that basically negates the Aryan coming from Europe. And how it negates itself as in history is, if you want to know anybody, any belief system, you've got to study what do they do after death. The Zoroastrian religion mentions that after you are dead, you will come back alive. And this is the practice that is followed in most other religions. All the Abrahamic religions follow that. They do not believe in reincarnation. But the beings who are supposedly to have come into India, the Aryans, were very much into reincarnation, very much into the philosophy that was already there. So it could have been only the coming back of the civilization after a major calamity. So today, when we go back into ourselves to connect to the higher energies, we need to understand that the UFO is a part of us. Lord Muruga represents the energies of the extraterrestrial, the supreme energies of not just when we say wisdom, we are talking of that higher thought alongside with intellect. Beings like Einstein, when they sat down, or Ramanujan, when they sat down to uncover their thinking, they felt guided by a superior, powerful force. And that consciousness is the sixth dimensional. And that sixth dimensional is recognizing ourselves as a cosmic child, the sixth dimensional being. Every one of us as human has this capacity. And in this capacity, we see ourselves as vibrancies of the entire universe of universes.
Cheers.
My Siddha Guru would mention to me in a puja a number of invoking the angels. And that number was 30 million followed by 30 zeros. That is the number of angelic beings we are invoking. In other words, that is the minimum number of stars in the universe of universes, and there is so much of that potential. And all this potential we are invoking for ourselves to be. Take a handful of sand and try to count the number of grain. Now, total all the sand of all the beaches across the globe, and the number is supposedly supposed to be 6 sextillion. And the number of known stars is supposed to be 9 sextillion. So the potential for that UFO extraterrestrial beings is absolute. Let's align ourselves to all the possibilities and know that we seek, that superior intellect, that highest of the wisdom is there for us to simply align with. And aligning with that, we need to know that we are simply the higher vibrational beings unfolding for ourselves the intent of ancient light. And this unfolds as a heart song.
Beautiful.
So, how do we know we are on the right path? Is your heart singing every moment? Are we in the states of joy? Are we in the bliss form of being? Are we the vortex of light at all times? Are we the inner sun shining? Now, all of the universes is dancing with us.
That's poetry. Nandhi, I know you bring so much of what you share in writing, art, music, as well as events. So there's so much to really explore here and certainly digest. And I feel challenged. I feel challenged to be that child of the cosmos that you've invited us to be. Thank you. This is fantastic. So I will send everybody to nandhiji.com. That's NANDHIJI.com to learn more about ways that you can certainly find Nandhi. He's very generous with his time on social media. And the declaration of consciousness is something that we all must participate in, okay? So let's override the dark because the light is within us. And Nandhi, thank you. Really, this is something that I think we could listen to again and again, and just as its own meditation, just hearing you and what you have to share. Namaste.
Grateful, divine
In the true
being,
meaning of the
grateful.
word, the light in me sees the light, recognizes the light in you. So I appreciate it. And again, make sure that you connect with Nandhi wherever you can. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm signing off. Until the next time, it's Bonnie Burkert thanking Tony Sweet, who you can hear every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific. And Robert Hensley's Minuteman Report also comes on live. So be sure to stay tuned to Truth Be Told. We've got lots for you. Raising the vibe. Much love. I'm Bonnie. Until the next time.
Hey.